Okay, we'll get started. So, hi everybody again. Welcome to our session today on Geneva, our Webster Geneva campus for summer 2024. We are really excited to be with you guys today. We have a contingent here from Webster, St. Louis, and Webster Geneva to talk with you about the exciting opportunities that we have there. So, just wanted to do some introductions. So, I'll start with myself. My name is Kelly Heath. I'm the Director of Study Abroad in the Office of Study Abroad here at the Webster Groves campus in St. Louis, Missouri. And yeah, so thanks. Our team here is happy to help you guys with any questions about the program, the application process, just to help streamline things as you embark on your study abroad experience. And I wanted to also turn it over to my colleague, Seth, if you wanted to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. I'm Seth Huntington. I'm a study abroad advisor at the Webster Groves campus in St. Louis. You can meet me in Spiridrop 207. Well, you're in Vienna, but we can meet on Zoom if you would like, and I'm happy to help anybody that, is going through the process.
Awesome. Thanks, Seth. And our Geneva colleagues, would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I think I'll go first. Well,
Perfect.
good evening or good afternoon, everyone. Hi, my name is Donial Jauhari. I'm the Student Services Manager here at Webster. And thank you again for joining us tonight, or for those who will be watching the recording. We're very happy to have you part of the meeting, and I'll hand it over to either Heidi, if you'd like to go next.
Sure. So I'm Heidi Amores. I'm the registrar at the Webster Geneva campus. Nice to meet you.
Heidi always has a lot of words to say, but Heidi, you're celebrating your 20th year, is that right?
That's right.
Oh, wow.
21. Yeah.
She started as a 10-year-old prodigy, so we're very glad to have her. My name is Dr. Eric Click. I'm the academic director here at Webster University, Geneva. Welcome.
Great, thank you. So what the plan is now is I was going to share my screen, and we do have a presentation that we wanted to provide to give kind of an overview of the campus and then specifically what we'll be offering in Geneva this summer. So I'm going to go ahead and share that. Okay, can everybody see? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So yeah, this is our presentation today. Hopefully we can transport you to Geneva in the summertime so you can start to envision yourself there, what that will look like for you. It's an absolutely beautiful location. We're going to share a lot of photos with you again to take you away, to transport you. So this is another one, just our beautiful Geneva campus in the Bellevue area. You can see you've got great views of the lake, the Alps. So this is our campus, which is a fully residential campus. We'll talk about the housing. We also have housing downtown. We'll talk to you a little bit more about that, but you can see it's very green, leafy, picturesque area. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Donia.
Thank you very much, Kelly. I think we could start moving to the next
Sure.
slide. Thank you. And talk a little bit more about why Webster Geneva just to have a little bit more insight of, or just a few key points about Geneva as a destination overall. So it's pretty much, as you may already know, since a few of you are already part of the IR program, so it would be also ideal to know a thing or two about Geneva, which is the Center of Expertise in Global Governance. It is also the home to more than 170, permanent missions of foreign states, and more than 80 international organizations and 380 NGOs, among many other organizational and international organizations. It also has a very wide population of more than 180 nationalities, and also 20,000 students. Speaking of the Webster Geneva campus, and Geneva is also known worldwide for its tolerance and open mindset. It's pretty much an international hub also for many nationalities, as you may already know. And we have approximately 40% of the population coming from outside Switzerland. And also we speak, I mean, we, not probably not me personally, but we do speak a few languages here. In Switzerland alone, we have the Italian side, German, and French, but also Romanche, which is another language here in Switzerland, smaller part of Switzerland. A quarter of the population and most of the foreigners, of course, speak English. And might be your home away from home, and might not be too far from your home, since we all speak English here and on campus, as you can also imagine. And it's just one of the small last little point. It's also home of the Swiss watch, and Patek Philippe and Rolex, and the Swiss cheese as well. So moving on to the next slide, we have a great diversity. Actually, yes, we have some of our pictures from this summer, actually from last summer. And in the classroom, we have over 90 nationalities and approximately 30 plus nationalities represented among faculty and staff. I myself, I'm half French, half Moroccan. And you can pretty much discover Geneva in every single season, because it has its own you have a lot of reasons why you should visit Geneva in summertime or in wintertime, and summer is just one of the seasons where you can have also the most fun, just going on the fun side, non-academic also. And it's a great time to explore the country and explore the great weather, and just delve, of course, into the academic interest. So to talk a little bit more about the next slide, we also have a few more information about life in Geneva. So if you also choose to come here to Geneva, you will have to start with, upon arrival, a student guide with exhaustive information about what to expect on campus, just a good variety of information about Geneva as well, the residents, contact information, and go-to places. So we'll have once you arrive, we'll just try to give you as much information as possible, but also in Switzerland in general, activities, what to do, what you expect according to the season, and of course the events that we'll be covering. And speaking of events, I think we can move to the next slide. But before that, we also would like to cover a few points about the housing and residence experience. So the housing is Les Berges, which is situated in the city center of Geneva. The pictures that you see are actual pictures of our residents. So the one in the bottom part is the residence itself. So it's located right next to the river. And it also has a swimming access and a barbecue lane. It has 24-hour security on site, a laundry as well. There's a tram stop just right across the street from the student housing, and the campus itself is about 8 minutes train ride from the main train station, and you have a train about every 15 minutes. So it's very well located, and it's a heart of the city. So everything is pretty much walking distance. And in Geneva itself is a decent human size city where you can find many things, and it's located in a jonction, which is ideally located from our student feedback. So do we have any questions about residence or housing so far, or any other questions before we move on to the next slides? Okay, if not, just feel free to send also a message. All right, so moving on from the residents, what can we do in Geneva alone? You have, of course, daytime activities. It's, I would say, probably a true like urban lakeside resort experience. You're close to nature and water. You can go on, mountain hikes, walks, bike rides. You can go swimming right next to the river, right next to Les Berges residence. Wakeboarding, stand, plenty of sports activities, along with shopping being one of them, of course. But you also have art and markets districts, many museums that are open, also during the summer season as well, along with festivals as well, cultural festivals. You're also will be close to the medieval old town. And as mentioned, everything, the good thing about Geneva itself is that once you have the access to the public transportation can take you pretty much everywhere you'd like to go in Geneva and Switzerland in general. And it's very safe, and not too far from the international airport in Geneva, and about 5 minutes train from the city center. So everything is pretty much close, in close distance, which is very convenient as well. So moving on to the next slide, as mentioned, Geneva is the heart of Europe, and it's pretty and it's very easy to fly. Weekend at a time. If you'd like to go to Italy or any other destination, it's very easy to just grab a flight and choose any destination that you would like. And as mentioned, the airport is very close to the Geneva city center. So by train, it would only take about 10 or 15 minutes to get there. So it's very, very easy. And also, if you choose to come to Geneva, we'll give you a few pointers about like destinations that you might be interested in, or if you have already done the research, I think you would already be prepared and have your program set out once you arrive here on campus. So about the next slide. Oh, this is one of my favorite ones. So what do we actually do during summertime? So we already have a few events planned for the summer season. So along with the guided tour at the CERN, which is the European Organization for the Nuclear Research, and it's one of the largest European organization in nuclear research. I've just learned recently, well, I have not had the chance to go there, but some of the groups already went to the CERN. This is where actually the internet was invented, among many, many other inventions as well. So this is a must-see tour if you'd like to know more about physics, nuclear research. It's really an excellent place. I'm not really sure about scientific notions, but I'm sure that if we have the pleasure to welcome you, you'll get to know a lot more than I personally do. So this one is already set and organized for June 14th. We also host regularly barbecue parties or community gatherings. And there's actually one organized and set for June 6th. Not only that, but we try to be part of the Geneva blueprint, if I may say, because we not only organize events on campus, but also off campus. So we have different partnerships with different organizations in Geneva. And we also try to also host different other guided tours. But apart from that, we also have many things happening in Geneva. And one of them is what we call the Bol d'Or, which is the world's largest inland lake regatta, which will take place from June 14th to the 16th. And it's quite the sight to see. The picture that you see is actually what you will see not too far from Les Berges residence, which is at the heart of the city center, so on the Lake Geneva itself, which is I highly recommend that you go. We of course have the Geneva Music Festival, which is a 3-day festival. It's a something that usually takes place in Europe in general for one day, but Switzerland is one of the unique country that takes it up a notch, moves it up to 3 days. So it's also a sight to see, and we might organize an event around that, take the students to one of the festivals or one of the concerts. And speaking of Webster, we're also hosting partnerships, and we have partners, of course, with other Webster campuses, and we usually take our students also to other campuses and host shared events as well. But we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move on. If you're interested, I'll be happy to talk a little bit more and to elaborate a little bit more about that aspect. And moving on to the next slide, it's just one of the other main activities that we love to do, and it's the hiking season also, which is not to forget about. And then again, these pictures that you see, the one on the left-hand side is the Lake Ochinense, and it's actually very accessible by train. Believe it or not, everything is accessible by train pretty much. And speaking of train, we actually have, like, looking forward to our trip tomorrow. We'll be going to Zermatt for a weekend-long trip, and we'll be taking a train as well, right up to Zermatt. So definitely looking forward to that event as well. So overall, it's just one of many aspects that we offer here in Geneva. These pictures and information is just the tip of the iceberg of what we actually do here on campus. We try to have and offer the best student experience possible, and through these experiences it also aligns with our sense of community that we have built over the past many years. As you may know, it's already the 45th year anniversary here at Webster Geneva, and we're planning to hopefully welcome you to show you what we actually also do, and many other events that we host here on campus, off and on campus. All right, and on to the next slide. I believe this
I'll take this one.
Sure.
Great, thanks, Sonia. That's
You're welcome.
amazing. Yeah, and it's I can't believe that Geneva's celebrating 45 years. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Long tradition there, being a Webster campus. That's awesome. So just a few things about program structure. I just wanted to mention some general things about our program structure for summer this year. So we are doing a model of 4 weeks, 4 credits. So you'll notice we have 2 different sessions available. You can go for one session on its own, or you're welcome to stay for a second session. So either 4 weeks or 8 weeks, and the dates are just listed up here. So essentially, summer 1 is the month of June, summer 2 is the month of July. So they are stackable, combinable. And then we are offering theme-based programs. So the areas that we're offering this year, which Dr. Click will talk more about, are in the areas of business, international relations, political science. And then we also have some that kind of cross-list with cultural studies. And then the way that these are structured is that within a 1 session period, you would be taking 1 3-credit core course, and then a 1 credit experiential learning course that would pair with that. So a 3-credit and a 1 credit for a combined 4 credits overall per session. And the 1 credit is really meant to enhance what you're learning in the 3-credit thematic course and kind of take you out into your host city or your host country, or expose you to different industries or different people working in the various professions that have to do with the program theme. So we'll go over some of those co-curriculars as are an important part of the program. So we'll talk a little bit more with you about what those will look like. And then, like I said before, you can combine programs. Also, our Vienna and Leiden campus are also using this model this summer. So if you wanted to go to Geneva for a term and then like Vienna for a term, that would definitely be possible, and the dates do align. So just wanted to make sure to mention that. But I'll go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Click.
Okay, and if you could hit the next slide.
Sure.
All right, so I think this is a good place to start, particularly with our IR majors, as I think both of you identified. So this is something we've done, as Kelly would know, in the past, although it's been modified now for this accelerated format. And plus added kind of a learning lab component, which is fantastic. So as mentioned, we have a global governance module is, I guess, how you would think about it. The 3 credit hour course and 1 credit hour course. With this being the home of the UN, this really does make the most sense for something that would be signature to this location. And so one of the things that we focus on not only in this location, but throughout Europe is the idea of signature programs. One of the programs we have here is actually migration, climate change, and environment at the master's level, for example. We look at signature courses. This is certainly a signature course that is unique to the Webster University Geneva location. In addition, we have signature events. While this would be the summer, thinking about the fall, for example, we have 16 signature courses this coming fall, but at the same time, one of the courses is, or 2 of the courses actually, at least, are part of what's called the Humanitarian and Securities Conference, which is going to be the 28th. And that's a partnership with the University of Geneva and also the UN. And so those are actually possibilities of having classes. We also have something that is the Humanitarian Association here too, which also helps out. And that's part of our signature organizations or signature clubs. And so we really try to operationalize the best of in the classroom and outside the classroom through experiential and transformative experiences. And so this is an example relative to Summer 1. Some examples also include activities such as It's a Given with the United Nations, International Red Cross, the museum, visits, also field trips. A lot of it's going to have a focus on sustainability. Many of you are aware of the UN sustainability goals, which become increasingly important as we move towards clear climate change, migration, and environmental challenges. So this course has a 200 franc fee. I just want to make that clear. It's or I'm sorry, $200 fee, not franc fee. So $200 US. And that can always be modified relative to your local currency, including the euro in Vienna. But this is a good sense of the first of Summer 1. So let's head to Summer 2. I'm sorry, Summer 1, the second course. So we also have what's called Sports in Switzerland. And just a minor clarification on that, Management 3100 Issues in Management course. That's actually Swiss sports. So that's what would appear. In addition, we have a learning lab where you're going to be able to do some activities. Now, I've had some questions about, someone's athletic ability. Generally, hiking is more like trekking. There's a lot of debate, but, regardless of your athletic ability, you'll be able to walk, you'll be able to participate, but it really is about enjoying the best that Geneva has to offer. And what's already been identified is certainly you'll be going to, some of the events, including relative to the sailing, there's, hiking. There's lots of different opportunities during the summer to really see the best of Switzerland. Just so you know, we oftentimes have Division I athletes come from the US to actually train here. For example, in the past, we've had somebody from Lake Forest, recently last year, a swimmer. Many of these soccer players actually came from, which are D2, from the main campus in St. Louis, and they also practice their soccer. We've had semi-pro athletes come here. So this is really also a great place to train. I think Kelly and others have heard me, jokingly say, sometimes it gets a little hot here, speaking of climate change in Geneva. And it used to be that it stayed a little bit cooler, but if it gets too hot, no problem. You can literally go jump in the lake, and not in a bad way because you did anything wrong, but in a good way to cool off. And that's just a normal pastime here in Geneva. And you can literally walk to the lake. I know there was mention of the train station. Just to understand how close, we have we have in essence our own train stop. It's right, you get off the train right to us. We have our own bus stop. So it's very easy to get back and forth here in Geneva, or to simply, if you just walk past a train stop, you're down at the lake. And as Dunya was saying, in essence, you do kind of have this kind of sleepy, hidden lake experience very close by. And at the same time, you can easily take a train 8 minutes and now you're in downtown Geneva, right? And just a bus stop away from La Berge, which by the way, too, if you don't like to jump in a lake, you can also jump in the river by La Berge, and that's also a common practice too. So a lot of things to jump into here in Switzerland. And of course, you know, what's coming, does anybody know? I know you guys are IR majors and you're so busy reading about all the political theory and comparative conflict going in the world, but does anybody know what occurs this summer that's not in Geneva, but that's nearby? Mina or Tara? Maybe Mina and Tara are too busy reading right now, but the Paris Olympics. So the Summer Olympics are also occurring the second half. And so there will be a lot of opportunity to see some of the qualifying. The other thing that's great about Switzerland is it has a lot of the Olympic or headquarters EA Sports, even though that's games and games design, which is another minor of ours actually. So there's just a lot of variety here in Switzerland and nearby. And so that's going to give a lot of opportunity to understand not only the business, but also the culture of sports here. And in addition to that, actually participate in some of these activities, regardless of your athletic abilities. And that is a $300 US fee. Okay, and so that's term one, in essence, of the summer session. So the first 4 weeks. So I'm going to move to summer two. Summer two starts in July 1 and goes to July 26th. This is a course that we ran last year, but has also been modified, and it's called Winemaking from France to Geneva. It's, you know, you probably heard about French Bordeaux, you've heard about, you know, Chesla, and I'm sure I'm messing up those words as we talk about diversity and inclusion as an American, but I try hard to say words remotely correctly. But regardless, you know, worst case, you'll be able to sample the wine and you can tell me. But what's great about this is, again, the cultural and economic impact. Regardless of where we're from, these kind of things really do permeate the culture. And you may not think about it, but this is a large part of the culture here. Just the everyday to also the economics. In addition, one of the things that's great is at the end of this, you're going to have a wine and spirit education test, which comes down to a level 1 testing for certification. So that means you'll actually be certified in wine at a level 1. And so that's a unique certification that's built into this. And that is something that certainly has value. In addition, whether you need a business course, which I know you guys are IR majors, or which could just be an elective. In addition, you have the ILC 2150, which is also a GCP. And it's also mixed with the art of winemaking, which is the learning lab, which is more of the participatory part. The co-curriculars are relatively straightforward. And I mean, for $400, you're really going to have a robust, you know, experience. And so regardless of where you're from, there are unique opportunities to get a better sense of the culture of also not only winemaking, but France and Geneva through this experience. Okay, next. So to build a little bit on global governance, and as Kelly talked about, you're welcome to mix and match, including on the campus. In addition, you're welcome to also mix and match with other campuses. For those of you who are interested or may hear, for example, we have winemaking in term 1, and Leiden has beer making. So maybe that is a future goal of yours, and or you would just like to know more about it, but that's a possibility. So intergovernmental organizations are very important relative to IGOs, are very important here in Geneva. This is a continuation of, to a certain extent, global governance, which is much more narrow focus to particular these entities. So when you're thinking about diplomacy, international relations, global cooperation, there's a lot of ability to bring in the best speakers, but to also go to these locations. A lot of these locations are at very low cost to any cost. And this is something that we have, 45 years of relationships here. And so it really is an amazing experience to be able to really dig into this in Geneva, which again is the home of the UN, home of so many missions, home of so many diplomats. I often make the joke that if you tie your shoe in the train, an ambassador will trip over you. I mean, there is just diplomacy everywhere. So regardless of whether you're from Vienna or another location, this is a very, very, very complimentary experience, because even if you've seen some of this in Leiden, even if you've seen some of this, for example, in Washington, D.C., it is different. It's such an international city. And it's amazing the people that you can meet and the network that can come from such an opportunity. Also, we have the Learning Lab part in here, which is the Careers in Histories, Politics, and International Relations, which is 1 credit. Whether or not you're in international relations or not, that course will still apply to you, and it'll be tailored based upon the students that are involved. And again, you have some of the ideas of the co-curriculars. The course fee on that is, just $100. And that's like all the course fees, is just simply, allowing us to make sure that you're able to gain entry and so forth. But it should be a great course. So those are the courses this summer. What I did want to mention is we're in the process of, they're already in the system. As you know, signups are in March. And I say, as you know, at least for the ones that are here in the room today, since you're within the Webster Worldwide Network. But for those of you who are going to see this as a WINS partner, we're in the process of actually scheduling the days and times. But how it's going to work is Mondays and Wednesday will be 1 class in 1 term. The other class in 1 term will be Tuesdays and Thursdays. Most of your learning in the classroom will take place in the morning, and then you'll have primarily trips towards the afternoon and the evening. Fridays will also be days that will optimize, but primarily you'll have, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So some of you will only take 1 of the modules. Some of you will take 2. Some of you will be here for 1 term. Some of you will be here for both terms, and you're more than welcome. Or maybe you'll take advantage, for example, in Vienna, and then you'll come here, or vice versa. And all of that is welcome relative to the housing, but just something to plan for. That will also leave you time, generally on the weekends too, if you wanted to take advantage of some of the travel and or the great experiences that student services also offer here. And so we try to mix the best of both worlds. Okay, so next slide. All right, so we can talk a little bit more about this, but before we get too much into this, any questions relative to anything that I cover in academics and or anything else we've covered today? Seth, do you have any questions? You good?
I'm fine.
All right. I was just excited to talk to someone. I also like that you have books in your office now, Seth. So.
Well, this is my home office. Those are all left over from grad school.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous. The books just cost too much to move around, but I've got them. I've actually ironically got them back in St. Louis.
That's the
Okay,
best backdrop.
yeah, so I guess at this point, Kelly, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, perfect. And so, yeah, these are just some additional items to consider when thinking about going this summer. So just wanted to make sure that we gave out some information on the cost of the program. So this is also on the Geneva page of the Study Abroad website. And we also have a section on like additional expenses, but these are the expenses listed here that would be like billed to your student account. So the tuition, or billed to you by your home university if you're a WIN student. So the tuition is $500 per credit hour. So if you're doing, a 4 credit program, so like we've designed for each session, that would be around $2,000. And then your housing, so these are all the per session housing rates. So if you were doing a double room, it would be 990 per session. If you were going to do a single, it would be 1390. So just wanted to make sure you had those. If you were staying for more than one session, you would just, double those amounts. And then there is a study abroad fee that's $300 that primarily covers the cost of your international health insurance. And then the other thing, like we've talked about as Dr. Click was going through each of the different program options, the different themes, each program has its own program fee, which goes towards the cost of the co-curricular activities. So that would range from 100 to 400, depending on what thematic program you went into. And then we do have scholarships. So for WIN students, we have what's called the WINS Award. So if you're doing, this would apply if you were doing 2 sessions, so you have to be enrolled in at least 6 credits. There's a $500 airfare award. And then if you're a Webster student, we have the Webster World Traveler, which you can apply for, that also covers, helps cover your airfare costs. And then if you're a Webster student, we have other Webster endowed study abroad scholarships that are all through the study abroad website that you can definitely look into and apply for. They are primarily like need-based, trying to give the awards to the students who have financial need. And then there's also a list of national study abroad scholarships. So those would be open to Webster students, WIN students, if you wanted to look and see what else was out there for study abroad scholarships through like independent organizations. Some are offered through even the US government. Those would be like the Gilman, those would be listed on our website as well, so you can take a look. And the deadline to apply is February 28th. So we are about a month out. So if now is a great time to be looking into the experience, to be gathering the information, which you're definitely doing if you're attending this session or listening to this session, and then just going ahead and getting your application in by that date. And the application process, is all available through the study abroad website. Just go to webster.edu/study abroad. You can click on the apply now. You can go into your program page. There's a button to apply. And then the application just asks you a few things about your background, your interests, what program you would like to do. We do ask you to upload a copy of your passport. If you're a WIN student, we ask you for an authorization from your study abroad advisor. So just a few things that go into that process. But Seth and I are happy to walk you through anything with the application process, answer any questions that you guys have on that. I would give yourself 1 to 2 weeks to do the application just to get through the whole thing. That's a great amount of time. And if you're ready to go now, you want to do this, now is a great time even go ahead and get your application done. Great, that's all I had on that. I see, Tara, that you raised your hand. Did you want to ask something? And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, if that's okay. And then we'll go into questions. Oh, wait, I wanted to share one more screen actually before we stop recording. And that was just our last slide here, just that had contact information. So if you have any questions, you can email Worldview. Our office, if you're a Webster student, is in Sphere, the School of Communications building, 207. Our phone number, and then Instagram for the Webster Study Abroad page. And also Geneva has an amazing Instagram account too. If you want to follow what they're doing there in real time, that's a really fun way to do it. And we do have study abroad students take over the Webster Study Abroad Instagram all the time. So it's great to follow us if you don't already. Cool, I'll stop sharing then. Let me turn off the recording.